Hey yo, what a div, y'all. Let's get right into it. I wanted to do something different today, give you guys a commentary video over my third floor of the Trials of the Sekhma run. I've attempted four, but it is a little rough. The mob type in there is just a little wild, and I'm not comfortable, well, A, showing you guys a run that didn't work out yet, and also more importantly, just I think that a lot of people are still struggling with getting the third assisting point in the first place. I think I might as well show this so you can see a little bit more of what it's like up here, especially as your character is better geared, and more importantly, as your relics are better. I'm showing this section here at the start where I like go through the quote boring part of setting up the relics because I want you to understand that the relic selection that you use is actually very important in here, right? This is a lot of reading on my part, so we're going to accelerate this a little bit here. So I remember how to do that. I feel like I was lied to by this program on like how I actually set up the speed thing. But you can see here as I picked the relics, what I'm actually looking for is relics that give me honor resistance. Honor resistance is a stat much like our regular resistance, like elemental res and whatnot, that will of course cut into the honor damage you take. And I believe this run, I don't think I only had like 30 or like 40-ish%. In my attempts that I've gone for on the 4th floor run, I've literally had capped honor resistance. And it is insane how little damage you actually take from things with honor resistance. I actually think it's such a problem that that's like such a prominent way to mitigate the honor in the system. It feels real, the damage in the system. It feels really bad actually. The amount of damage you take to your honor if you don't utilize honor resistance this way, but it is what it is. Kind of mad at myself for taking this long to put it. I do remember that I was really trying to squeeze out every percent of honor resistance I could find because I knew that that was going to be the key to getting this run down. Now that we're in the run, I'm going to slow it down a little bit, but I am going to be playing this at mostly 1.5 or 2x speed unless I see something that I think, or unless I know I have something that is more relevant to be pointing out. Just because this run is long, you can't see the end run time, but it took 42 minutes to do this run. Granted, a part of this run included me typing to a homeboy about him getting absolutely farmed by something. And this is before I like cleaned up the filter a bit too. It's crazy. This is a couple days ago, right? My character, like I said, as it stands, when I posted my full showcase video, I was 3 points in. It's just I hadn't, I've it's been a couple days since then, all that stuff. But you'll see here, this is room type 1. This is I think it's called an hourglass room, is usually what it's called. And it is just literally survive until the timer runs out. But the big thing is that if you can kill the rares, the timer goes down faster, which is actually like a really big deal. It is kind of hard to kill the rares sometimes. So you'll need to be aware of this on your own. Making these decisions here, usually you're making decisions such that you can provide yourself good for options going forward, right? I made a video actually last league, funnily enough, or this current ongoing league in PoE 1, talking about Sanctum and how one of the most important things, and amongst a ton of other information about how to do Sanctum, one of the things I talk about is that you do need to leave yourself a tree of possibilities in terms of what you have available to yourself, right? Leaving yourself with those options available is very important. We're going to speed up a little bit because it is a lot of gameplay, but leaving yourself available those options is very important to actually be able to say, like, I don't know, make decisions such that you don't get boxed in. Like if you see here, this is an awkward pause, but notice how all of my options on this floor here are in fact purple, right? They're all afflictions. Imagine if I had like boxed myself in and left myself like, if I took here or here on this room, I would have been unable to pick up here if these afflictions could have been better and these afflictions were trash, right? Like right here is gold key with afflictions are unknown. It's worth noting purple smoke is one of my least favorites. So I don't want to purple smoke myself. I don't remember what this other one is. We're going to see in a second. But if I had boxed myself in, I would have potentially like ran my run into the ground way earlier just because of, not giving myself room to make future proof decisions. That's something very important to consider. And then, I flick through a lot and I decide a path. This is my favorite room type here, actually. The escape rooms where you just run around and get death crystals. Reminder, this is not my actual character speed. I wish I was this fast, y'all. This is at 2x speed. Although at some point in this run, I do actually get the hairfoot, and it makes it feel so much better. Like I can't imagine how long this run would have taken without a hairfoot. Which that's going to just kind of be an overarching complaint, if you will, with the game. But just generally speaking, it does not feel fantastic to have to take so long as I go here. As you know, going through things like imagine it taking this long, like 42 minutes. Imagine at minute 39, I break the run. I'd be livid. You know what I mean? Like I'd be livid. I would be pretty unhappy camping. Don't mind me checking items. Look at that. Like I did this for recording purposes, but I was like, look. I have friends too, you guys. I'm allowed to play and chat with my friends. Oh, that was a weird little piece of like. But you'll see here, another escape room. It's worth noting, I actually pick this room whenever possible. This room is my favorite. That's crazy. I remember that frame drop. It happens. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes the game is still, performing a little weird when I try to get recordings, and this is annoying. Just see here, look at this. We make, again, situation where we have all the options ahead of us, right? 3 different rooms. I'm picking which one I like here. And especially because I'm on my way to the boss now, I can kind of just pick the route that I like, which, if I'm not mistaken, it's going to be honor and boon and then just honor. Even though I don't really care for the honor, the merchant affliction is just really bad. Something really random and strange, by the way, that this is going to only be a nitpick that makes sense to a previous Sanctum runner. But in PoE 1 Sanctum, the door that opens used to correspond to the selection that you made when you clicked on the selection options. And I really despise that it doesn't do that here. Like it's just a small little thing, right? It doesn't matter. It has no impact on the gameplay whatsoever. But man, I hate it. It just feels so bad. Like, it doesn't feel bad. It's just, a little nitpick of an old Sanctum runner. Clearing the room out. The gauntlet rooms are kind of annoying, honestly, just because they usually take you down winding ass paths to find your way back to the front. It's worth noting. You see these spikes, you can walk into them while they're up. And that's kind of the secret to getting through them. As you do that, it's very smooth and easy. Get to the end. Pledge to the coach. This is called this one talks about the altering the terms of the trial. It's worth noting, if you hear anybody from a PoE 1 step back around to talk about Sanctum, they will call this an accursed pact or like a shaky hands or something, because the icon used to be literally, you see the handshake in the middle of the screen there. That is what this is called, and you get a positive and a negative. Sometimes it's worth taking the randoms. It's worth noting that gambling is how you win. You do kind of have to take a little bit of risk. Or in this case, I knew that glowing orb was going to be good enough for me. It turns out glowing orb is actually really bad. I thought glowing orb did more of what it did from PoE 1. It did not. I was getting spammed with the good of that during this section of the run, and I remember being so frustrated by this. But I used to think that I thought that glowing orb would have done something more like what it does in PoE 1, because in PoE 1, glowing orb was when you when you get to low resolve, it restores your resolve. But this one only triggers when you get to low health, not when you get to low honor. And so that being the case was actually really unfortunate, because I basically took a dead thing. Don't mind me. I'm literally trying to figure out how to block this guy, and it won't let me do it. It's driving me nuts. I don't get what in the world was going on, but they were trying so hard. They kept inviting me to this guild, but it was driving me mad. Okay. Small complaint here, because it just happened, and I remember being a little upset about that, is that lever. That lever is cringe. Like, straight up just cringe. Get it out. Like, I don't know how I feel about the levers in places that don't really need levers. Like, hey, cool, I guess. But bruh, at least make them stand out or put them on the mini map or something. You know what I mean? Like, they could do better in that regard. And now we're at the first boss. So, I'll slow it down to normal speed here. You can just watch me beat the boss up in normal time period. Gathering Storm the boss first to apply the big shock that it gives me from the ground, as well as the exposure. You can see that shred there. That they were just preparing a stun. Got my charges ready. I fucked up my Gathering Storm. All right, there we go. And mix the boss. It's just that easy, right? Alrighty, back to speed, because this is going to take a while otherwise. Oh, actually, I will leave it at regular speed for a second while I talk about how I pick loot here. because this is going to be an ongoing theme. I am looking for specifically royal caches in my runs. I believe this run, I might not have really realized how important royal caches are. This is me almost going the wrong way, but I'm looking for royal caches for the most part. And it's worth it. You use keys in all of the rooms. Keys throughout the run stay with you, so you can use them here. You can use them later, whatever it may be, whichever one you think fits best for whatever it is you've got going on. Right now, we can speed up again. You can see again decisions. Right, leaving myself the best tree of possibilities where I'm like, man, these afflictions are going to suck. But then what if there's another affliction that I don't want behind it, right? You want to give yourself room to make decisions, give yourself room to adapt to the situation, speed it up. I kind of wonder if the tearing that happened earlier actually had to do with the clip being accelerated. And luckily for you guys, you don't have to hear it. The tearing was even worse on the audio than it was on the visual. Okay. Anyways, while I run this room, side note, right? If you're watching this and you actually like this type of video, let me know just so I know that this is something that I should consider doing more often. It's an idea that I got from, well, my friend and editor, and I would, I want you guys' feedback to know this is something that you actually find like useful and interesting, right? It's a little, and also tips for if you do find it useful and interesting, how I can do it better, right? With first time doing everything, always appreciate some feedback. Anyways, talking about this room and these traps, it's worth noting you can kind of like fit in between them and just like walk around with it. But you can also see that like, as you saw, I can roll through those fireballs. That's a really big deal for not getting nuked by them. Also, do not touch on the like plate thingies in the ground there. They do actually explode and they do a lot of damage and they can ignite. And that ignite can then as such burn you for even more honor. Which, like, yeah, I have good honor rest, but I'm not willing to pretend that it isn't a problem. This is the ritual room where you just blow up the dudes that are guarding the portal. Basically, it's not guarding the portal, but it basically feels like guarding the portal. You walk through a little bit of the traps on your floor, and you nuke the guys that are protecting the portal. It's channeling the portal, summoning a ritual, all that stuff. But like, look, nuke them. Also, for anyone who's curious, the monster level area 70 is equivalent to roughly like a T6 map, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say it's 65 is 1, 66 is 2, so then 70 would be T6. So this is like decent map territory, but there's like a non-zero chance that, if I'm not mistaken, by this point already on the character, I was doing T13 plus maps. See another death room though. We love this room. We love this room. Sorry about that. It's early here. Okay, I'm an EB boy. This is an important message here that I had to say. It's just like, of note for people who are watching. This is a very good time if I mentioned it. I do not believe you can leave a trial in progress at all. Given that I did have an instance where like I tried to enter one and it crashed and I immediately lost that run. I believe that you actually just straight up not allowed to leave a trial in progress, whether that be Trial of the Sekhma or Trial of Chaos, which is really unfortunate considering how long it takes to clear them. Like, but I would need to do some more. I don't want to call it testing because I don't want to test it myself, but I would need to get that confirmed. But that's currently my belief. Also, side note, it's crazy. Looking at the state of my characters in this footage is kind of crazy because I know that what my setup does now compared to this, and I'm like, oh man, how did I play it like this? Like I know how I played it like this because it was still really good, and I was feeling very happy about the character then. But man, do I feel so much better about it in its current state, which if you want to see the current state, come by to Twitch. I will be talking about it soon on the channel. There's just some other stuff that I need to get more of it done because I want it to be kind of like a wrap up because I am a little over the end game, a little over mapping at the moment, and or at least on this. Maybe it's on this character, maybe it's mapping in general, but I want to start to like go play other characters I had like an itch last night. I did like some test leveling, just doing the thing with the guys. And I was like, oh yeah, I want to try some stuff out. But you'll get to see the new improvements to the character soon. But otherwise, I mean, you can see the frying, the damage is going crazy. I don't think I have the hair foot yet here. This is still just 2x footage, right? I'm mostly going to be playing this on 2x unless it's something that is like worth slowing down and sliding through, or giving you guys time to actually see how I interact with. Just because, look at how long this takes. Like, I mean, this video is going to be something like 20 something minutes long, and that's ran at 2x speed. Imagine if I ran this at regular speed the whole time. There's the hair foot. Look how much faster it looks in 2x with the hair foot. Actually, hold on, wait. We got to take a moment to appreciate it in 1x for a second. Don't I look so much faster than a normal PoE player right now? 60% MS. Yo, imagine they gave us this like baseline, man. It actually makes the combat feel so much better. It's the crazy part. Like this level of movement speed, it feels so good. Like it's something that I'm actively thinking about for like gearing this character forward, and also like going in the future characters. Like, how do I amp the movement speed up more, right? Because that feels really good. Granted, I believe at this point in time on the character, I only have like 15% MS boost or something like that, but like still, there's gotta be a way to get like, there's probably some really nice movement speed items out there that, could cost you a premium, if you will. See, there we go. That's that bomb I just talked about. And look at the damage my honor took as a result of it. Don't click on, don't touch those. You'll see here, I'm thinking about how to progress through this like trap that spins around and shoots. I find my way through after a little bit of like analyzing the situation. All right. Back to 2x speed because again, still got a lot of footage to get there. Don't worry, I'll slow it down on the bosses though, just because I think it's pretty cool to slow it down there. I realized I covered all the other routes as I did, but I didn't talk about what in the world goes on in a chalice room. Perfect, chalice room. So, in the chalice room, you're hunting down these rares. Like that rare is one of them. You need to kill all the rares in the room. It's kind of ass. Because sometimes you'll get rares that absolutely suck to fight that you would rather run away from, and you still have to fight them. It's worth noting on this floor in particular, there's a really scary rare type that shoots a flamethrower. Or is it this floor or is it the other? No. It's next floor. This floor has just like the little fire mages and whatnot. And wow. Frame lag. Thank you. Anyways. Also, for some reason, that rare in the corner there did not count for this. I don't remember why, but I was pretty glad that I killed him because he dropped a terrible unique. That is a frost breath. Frost breath is bad now. But you see, we're just playing for our honor at this point. Especially because I'm taking damage per room. Oh, 1 second. Let me I almost just like let that play through. We've been taking honor per room for quite a while now, but it's very minimal because of my if you have any phys mitigation, that helps. And also more importantly, the ability to what do you call it? Do the ability to have honor res. Now, this fight sucks. I'm just gonna keep it a buck with you. On a melee character, I hate this fight. Here, my big tip is watch the guy that does all the fire stuff. I believe his name is Hadi of the Flaming River. He is the problem out of these two. Hadi's attacks, let me rewind it really quick because I want to show this one attack again, right? I kill him. I kill him pretty quickly. This is like, I'm overgeared. And even in 4, I actually almost to kill this fight. But I want to focus on Hadi for a second. Focus on him, right? The Frozen Spring is annoying, and he's going to do, like, Frozen Spring is going to do this first initial slam that you have to dodge, right? Like, one, boom, dodge that. But watch this Sunder. This Sunder is brutal. Not here. Watch it. Sunder. Dodge that. Notice the impact. You cannot be in front of him. So, part of this fight, I recommend making sure that these guys come off of the wall that they're on before you try to mix their shit. If they're still on that wall when you try to mix them up, you will end up just like accidentally getting hit by this a lot of the time. Let them come off the wall a little bit, and don't CC him immediately, because if you CC these guys too early, they will actively like start their sequence for this early. Right? It'll be like they'll be frozen, and then he'll decide, okay, well, now I'm no longer frozen. Instead of doing the like basic stuff where I like move and whatnot first, I'm just going to try to slam your shit. At which point you're going to get fucked on. So let him come off the wall, mix him up a little bit politely, wait for this to happen, dodge it, and then get to work. And then as you see, I dodged the stuff. I put them both in the stun cycle. It's on like Donkey Kong. 1 down, 2 down. It's worth noting the explosion from this guy, that the explosion from them dying actually does no damage, which is very unclear, by the way. I'm not a fan of that happening, but it is what it is. So now this, we're going to get into the part of the run where my cheeks start to clench, right? We are going into the third floor. This is the floor I have never been on at this time in the run. At the time of recording this is actually the furthest my run had been. Or, my bad. At the time that this footage was shot, not the time of recording this video, but at the time of this footage was shot, this was the furthest I had been in a run. So we're going into a territory that I had never been in. And I am taking honor I'm losing honor per room. I was so sad when I realized I could not buy that Sanguine Vial. That Sanguine Vial is so good for letting me kill things fast, but I was like, okay, fine, my damage is good enough. Okay, so remember I talked about royal caches? Hold on, back 10 seconds. Royal cache right here. This gives jewels. This is very important. These give jewels. It's like the primary reason you want to be in Sanctum or in the Trial of the Sekhma in the first place. You really want these to give you jewels so that you can, upgrade your tree and whatnot. And you can drop jewels elsewhere, but like in here is where you really where you can really get them, especially like the radius jewels that they showed us in the showcase video. Alrighty. Anyways, let's get back to it. Also, don't mind me. My friend is complaining about getting obliterated by the silver hand in in Act 3 or Cruel Act 3. Big Sunder Boy. I'm stupid. I typed it in the wrong chat. Yeah, that boy is hard. Now, the test of cutting. This is floor 3. If you're curious, by the way, the fourth floor is test of will. It's fucking sick. All right, we're playing again to maintain honor. And as you'll notice there, let me rewind that a little bit. Let me rewind it and slow it down real quick here. You'll notice here, I was given a situation where I got a very favorable way through without blocking up my options, right? Restore honor, very ideal for me. And I'm down for a handshake. And after the handshake, I get a set of options while dodging this affliction. That ended up not being that bad of an affliction overall, but I still wouldn't have wanted to take it, right? We got our tree of options available to us here. Very important that we always play for those. That's just a consistent theme. Otherwise, all right. So on the third floor, there are these annoying enemies that burrow around and follow you. You'll also see these pressure plates. These pressure plates are kind of misleading. If you step on them, they create a gas cloud and some minions. And now this is one of the things about being new to an area that you're going to see. It takes me a little while to figure out how to get through here because I'm like, well, how do I get forward? And the answer, we're going to come across it on the screen pretty soon here where the answer is. It's this thing right here. This pressure plate in particular has this podium on it. That means it's a switch for these doors. And I did not realize that immediately. So keep that in mind for yourselves. But I was like, that one looks weird compared to the other pressure plates. These doors are both blocked off. There's got to be something here somewhere, right? Because I knew that those pressure plates were traps. They just look like traps. But you could see me wandering around trying to figure out where to go because it did not feel immediately apparent to me how to get out of here. This is what I'm telling you when you're watching this segment that's where it happens at, right? Step on here. Come on, step on it. Dude, I tell you, I feel really stupid watching this back. Let me tell you. Bonk. And now I can get through, right? That was how I learned how the doors in this area worked. And I was like, okay, cool. Except for some reason, this one is a regular fucking lever. So I don't really know what's up with that. More silver and chatting. See, we stepped on it again. It spawned minions and a poison cloud. Luckily, though, I was running past it. So it didn't really matter to me. We make it to the end. We're free. There's this rare here that I kind of wanted to kill because the rares gave loot. This was actually before the loot patch that we got, by the way. So rares were like one of the only things actually giving any loot in this fucking game at the time. Well, restore honor. We needed that. Going for it with no downsides looking for it. We like that. My God. Okay, here's that guy right there. You see that guy who just did that flamethrower? It is worth noting that when you see him winding that up, you just need to be dodging the whole time. And there's something extra to know about that. If you move him around, see him again, It's not him that shoots the fire. It's the incense burner that he puts down that shoots the fire. So you need to be prepared to move around that, not around him, which is actually a very important thing that I learned in fighting those guys. If I get another one of these chalice rooms, I will. And I'm pretty sure chalice rooms have it. I'll show you it. This is a questionable decision right here. I just took an ornate dagger because I wanted the damage, but I also just took golden smoke as a result of it. Golden smoke stops you from seeing what you get from doing a room, which is horrifying because it means rewards is like the heal yourself rooms, right? Or the things of that nature. Now, remember, I told you I'm bleeding out each room here, and this is the floor that I hadn't been to before. So I'm kind of gambling on my own skill, which we know from the video that the video being made that it worked. But I took a huge gamble on my own skill here to run through a section of the sanctum that I hadn't seen before. Well, my skill in one other thing. But you'll see I can only see the afflictions now in the names of the rooms. Chalice trial, right? Let's see if I can find one of these. Let's slow it down in here a little bit. But so took a gamble on that, and look at that. Okay, you see that burner? That burn. There's this burner right here. That's what shoots that flamethrower. But it channels from the dude, and it's meant to desync you if you move. It's meant to mess you up if you move the mob around. So it's actually really scary. Anyways, I managed to highlight that. We gambled on that and one other thing. See, did it again. Look how much damage I took from that. That attack actually in particular seems to do a lot of resolve damage compared to everything else, even relative to the health you took. Because if you watch that clip back yourself, you're going to notice that I took very little actual damage and took so much resolve, lost so much honor, even though I have a ton of honor resistance and I did not take much damage. So I don't know why the resolve there was so high. I don't have any afflictions that affected honor resolved. Yeah, honor damage taken either. So not really sure what was going on there. This is what the third floor chalice room escape room looks like while I'm doing this. I'm going to talk about a mechanic that is actually saving me a lot in this run that is not super apparent. My character is very high evasion. At this point in time, I believe I am like 70 something percent between my stats and like Wind Dancer and whatnot. And evasion, since it works on everything that's not an AoE damage source. This is very important because non-AoE damage sources are like most melee attacks and most projectiles. This includes spells. So sometimes I make errors when I dodge, but if the skill is an AoE, I have over 70% chance to not take damage from it at all. Look at me play safe around this temporal bubble. What do you call it? The ability to not take damage from things is really important sometimes because sometimes you just make an error. Like I kind of just like walked through that area and I did not do it very smoothly. And I know even like it's in 2x speed with hair flip, but like I remember doing that section in regular speed and being like, ooh, that's not particularly good. Right? Like the area was kind of rough for me. This mob sucked. I remember doing this rare and hating it because I'm trying to take no damage, right? I have very little honor to work with here. I'm looking for the window where he's like not spewing down this hallway. That was hard. That was hard on me, and I'm very tense at this point. One last room to take. You know, gamble it all. Doesn't really matter what we take for affliction here. It's the last one of the run, last room to run. And I'm like, well, I would rather have an escape trial. And the black smoke doesn't matter because it's literally the last room before the boss. Because this is a 3 trial run. That is the only time I will allow taking black smoke. By the way, it's when you've seen everything that you need to see. I think black smoke is so bad for you otherwise, right? And you know, maybe let me know in the comments actually if you guys want me to. I might remake my or like update in some way, shape, or form my guide on Sanctum from PoE 1 just to like fit some of the new knowledge that we have from the Trials of Sekhma as well to also make it acclimated to people who have been here before. I just realized I am going too fast on the boss room. We are on the boss now. You'll notice in this arena that she has the traps here. That's a really big deal. You step on them, they do in fact spawn ads and poison clouds, which actually killed Ventrilo in one of his attempts at this. It was very unfortunate. But all right, you just have to dodge this. It's worth noting, coming out of the ground and going back in, she leaves quicksand. Like actively, it slows you. See, that attack, I'm pretty sure I just evaded. We're about to mix her up. Yep, get the stun off. And then we just go ham, right? Put our bells down. I'm bad and did not put my second bell down here. I should have had her killed right there. Bro, put a bell down. There we go. And my clip starts fragmenting at the moment because of things. And look at that. She's dead. I'm scared as shit to make sure nothing happens, but I'm safe. Why is my clip going crazy? Anyways, that is everything for the run, right? All you're gonna see from here is me go pick up some loot and me go ascend. So that means we're at the end of the video. Thank you guys for watching. Again, any tips, feedback, or whatnot for this type of video, would be much appreciated. Honestly, I actually really like the idea of doing a video like this. I just, the first time for everything. I would love some feedback on it. If you want to see it for other types of content, whatever it may be, please let me know in the comments down below. If you have any other questions, of course, you know the deal. If you want to see me elsewhere, links in the description for Twitch and Discord. And I shall see you guys in the next one. Peace.